Daunting. First time coming to the studio after 10 years was daunting.
My favourite tune I've ever made is On the Rise.
I know there's no way you could have done all of that in music and just not care about music anymore.
Your dreams can quickly be taken from under you, or you can, just give them up.
There's multiple layers to this one. The thing is that it's already the most successful thing you could have made in my eyes because it's the most you thing you could have made.
Felt as though it was the truth and authentic and real and related to it. Like, yeah, actually, that is our story and it's true.
March 2020, we're locked in our house. The only way I could get out was to do exercise. So I've put in my pods and I've legged it round this exact park near my house and plugged into Kano's Hoodies All Summer. But that album spoke to me, so at the time as well, I was making a lot of money out of music that was doing the opposite. So I felt a way about the album just needing to exist more. So I finished my run and I text this geezer.
My childhood was lovers, rock, rhythm and blues, dancehall. Man used to go bonkers at Conker's Pogs and playing marbles. Love British Bulldog, hide and seek and pass the parcel. Street Fighter, around the time that Righty played for Arsenal.
I wanted to go to the studio with my mum just because I felt as though, like, early on in my career, I used to always keep everything really separate. Nah, man, my family is what makes me happy and I just want them around. It's not about the destination, getting there and making it and then, like, everyone look at me, come. Like, it's about look after myself and people around me. I think that's making it, that's success.
You and Casa text me same time, you get me, within a few days of each other, saying almost identical things, to the point where I thought, have they spoken? Do you know what I mean? But you two didn't even...
I didn't know Casa at the time.
Even know each other.
I never met him, really.
But I did kind of brush you both off. I said, oh, when I get back to England.
Yeah, we ain't coming back to England anytime soon.
We're not coming back for ages.
I was just linking Bash on an organic one in LA, just on, right, let's go get a food. Music will just come into the conversation. I'll be like, oh, what's the music vibe? And I'd always try and just pan it off like, oh, nah. I know there's no way you could have done all of that in music and just not care about music anymore. That's just not real, do you know what I mean? So I just felt like once the conversation kept going, I'll just keep probing and probing and probing and probing. And I knew that some of it maybe just came out of fear of just like not doing it for time.
One of the big things was fear, like especially if you take an extended period away from music. Now you got the fear of, do I still have it? Can I get back to match fitness? Can I present my best self where I'll be proud of it? So I was definitely scared of that. And then I had a lot of trauma associated with music anyway, because I was growing up, when I was really making music, growing up in northwest London, and it was a volatile time.
Sure.
Yeah. So.
Bashy invited myself, Mikey, Casa, Kevin to get in a room and talk about music and culture. And out of that was a sort of unified, I guess you could say, hunger for a new sound that was more in tune with who we were at these times in our lives, innit? So it was right good for me, because it was like, oh, there's other people that are kind of in a similar space to me in my quote-unquote journey. So it's lockdown, you can't really leave your area for more than 30 minutes, yeah? This is when I'm making the majority of the record. A lot of the stuff that was made was sent ideas via a voice note from Bashy. So then when I left the house, I wanted to immerse myself in like his experience. And there used to be a coffee shop there that's now shut down. So I'd go there with the demos that I'd made and listen to them and literally look at the street that he grew up on. Yeah, I just remember sitting there and looking at that and just trying to get into the mindset. I don't think I could have made that album any other time of my life, because to be locked in the area that it was about was kind of like priceless, you know what I mean? So.
Let's go. Grew up on the ends, I was broke. Never been a shotter, but I've made mills. About 20 years focused on the grind. From Harlesden to Hollywood Hills. Chills, ills. Look, I came a long way from doing shows for a bills. Used to drive the 114 to Mill Hill. Keeping it real, never did trap or drill.
I moved there when I was like 8 years old. Cool. And then I left here when I was about 24.
Okay, so like those important years, isn't it?
Yeah, those
It's so funny because I live over there now,
Yeah.
and it's like I was so close to some of the experiences you're talking about. Did you have that?
Huh? No, the house was this colour. How it was. Sorry, mate, you ain't done it wrong.
Oh,
Do you know,
God.
do you know you still live here?
How you doing? I'm okay.
Do you remember me?
I do.
I bought the house off your mum.
No, 23.
23. So remember it was yellow?
Yeah, yellow.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Nice. Big up Valerie.
You live here? Cool. Well, go check out, but don't get spooked up. Right?
It's like a real person's life, you know?
Yeah.
The train was really there.
Man, the train's right outside and a Bashy's old broom. This is wild, cuz.
I haven't been in.
And it's funny because the woman that lives here now, she ran a music school where I was learning piano for a bit.
The connections on that are all the time.
Yeah, better. The old gaff, you know, spontaneously ran into the person that bought it off your mum, right?
Yeah, bought it from mum, yeah.
You were just being in there. How was that?
Felt so safe inside.
In the house?
In the house, yeah.
Sweet boys turned sour thing.
Yeah. I felt so safe in there, you know? Like, it's only when I really come out, it's like, fuck.
I am lashed by the fact that the train tracks were behind the
Yeah,
bedroom.
that's-
I never known that. And the fact that the skits on the album are all train stops.
Yeah, from that exact train, right?
Yeah, mental.
Yeah. From that line. That's
Yeah,
the line
the
that
line.
I
So-
got on. So the opening audio that you hear on the album when it's like, next stop, Willesden Junction, blah, 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 that is from that line, that
Right
exact
behind.
line that runs behind my house. So it's really authentic to who I am.
Yeah, big time.
The next station is Kensal Rise.
Granny came on a boat. Granny came on her own. Granny came out to England because she thought the pavements were gold. Granny said she was cold. Granny never seen snow. No dogs, no Irish snow. You already know. Did factory work, put buttons on clothes. She was young, she was bold. Sacrificed so we could have a life. Help the family evolve. Now this is where we call home. This is all we know. Gotta make her proud. Can't let her down.
It got to a level, it was so high, I had to bring in Benji B for some advice and guidance and almost mentorship on it.
Yeah, when I was a kid, we used to go carnival. You'd get off at Kensal Rise. There's two ways of hitting carnival, right? You can either come Notting Hill side or you can go up the top, Kensal Rise, and then walk down. So yeah, I associate Kensal Rise station with carnival, weirdly.
And I like the sample of it.
Yeah. Thank you, bro. Appreciate that, man.
The skits are all trained.
All from the train. When you listen to the album, it's all from this line here that we're driving now.
And obviously, I rate the whole movement when you were bus driving and that. as well.
Yeah.
And obviously, when you're incorporating the transport thing,
Yeah.
bang it still.
Come on, bro. Love. Brother, have a blessed day.
Respect,
Honor,
brother.
respect.
All right, manners.
Love.
Yeah, man.
Your train was ready for this as well.
It was ready.
Here was this guy that we all want back in the scene, coming back in the scene in my space, with his mum. I'd never met his mum before. She was as lovely as you can imagine. And it's a Aswad sample that his mum had picked.
When I heard that you re-recorded Back to Africa, and to see that the next generation has come and picked that up as well, it does make me smile, because when we started out, you can't see into the future. You just do what you do, and after a while, I've got times made to be able to look back now and see, oh, right, this is what we've done to influence what's going on now.
First thing we did was pick the mic. So we picked a mic. I remember, it's so funny. I've got my posh mic, and then I've got my gutter mic. And he put his cans on and he goes, into the posh mic, 1, 2, 1, 2, and into the greasy mic. No, I prefer this one. And it's one of these, which is an SM7B, which you'll have seen on podcasts and stuff, but it's very out of fashion. Bashy said he wanted to sample sticky triplets, right? And then we had this idea of recording it like you would on a set with something like this. So you'd spit like that. When it came out, sticky, everyone was like, sounds distorted and lo-fi. Yes. That's the feedback we need. It's supposed to sound like pirate radio on top of a sticky sample. It was just from that moment on, it flowed. And I knew it was going to be fine. And we listened back at the end of the session, and I think we were both slightly shocked at how our vision had been accomplished straight away so comfortably.
You know, some people respond to songwriting and songs first, but I've always been the person that responds to music first, and I felt like what you were doing musically, you know, and the way that it was fusing with what was being said on the record had a great deal of potential to become a beautiful album. But just the idea of a collection of music, a collection of thoughts, a body of work, and things that go together, and that's what it felt like. It felt like something was forming.
Drove the bus where I slipped to Mill Hill and back, Mill Hill and back, Mill Hill and back, Mill Hill and back, Mill Hill and back. I could have sworn down I was getting mad. One time got so tired, crashed.
I didn't drive this bus, but I did drive to Mill Hill Broadway.
What bus did you drive? Was it a double-decker thing like this?
Double-decker, yeah. Just like this bus. Like 183 and 292 and 114. I was on MTV at that moment driving the bus. It was mad.
Yeah.
It was a mad feeling. I was like 21 maybe. Yeah, and it's good. It's good to have that real life experience. It helps me for my acting anyway.
Right.
You've had a real existence. You haven't come straight out of a school and gone into the business. It's like, no, I really was driving the bus.
Trying to contain herself over here.
Hey, Bashy, you know you used to drive buses for a living?
I just told her. Sorry, and I said, you used to be a bus driver and it's on a bus. What's his name?
I had genocide, been terrorized, been scrutinized, been brutalized, been ghettoized, been sexualized, been sterilized, been plagiarized, unrecognized, been jeopardized, been tyrannized, been trivialized, been stigmatized, been ostracized, demoralized, dehumanized, traumatized, but full of pride. Hold me down and still I rise. Ward on my shoulders, still I thrive. By any means, I will survive. I will try to the day I die. We're out here fighting for our lives. And that's how black men lose their smile.
When I started writing it, I was like, oh, actually, it felt like there was still something to say left in my pen, in the vibes. It's like, nah, actually, I don't know if it's good or sick, but I got a feeling that, well, the words are flowing and they're connecting in a way that feels organic. It has the lyrics in terms of like punchlines, metaphors, but then you're telling a story and no one thing should outweigh the other. You shouldn't be, I felt as though I didn't want to be so focused on the story that I've forgotten what it is that I enjoy about rap and hip hop. It's the punchlines, it's the metaphors. And I didn't want to be so focused on punchlines and metaphors that I forget the story. So I knew I felt though as though I had that down, but then the recording element, I was like, man, like, when you get into the booth, like,
Bash always was saying to me, like, I need the bass to be rocking, like, do you know what I mean? I want to feel like it's in the dance, or I just approached it like that and just thought, you know what, if man was in the shubs, this needs to be ringing off in a way that it would.
Generally speaking, grime, which is an area that Bashy is most like associated with, historically speaking, is made at a tempo which we call 140 BPM. And there's only one example of that on the record. And the rest of it's all like 100 this, 95 that, 120, like, which basically means that you can flex at any tempo, and it means that it's not just a flex though, it's a true reflection of the diversity of musical taste that you have. People think that, oh yeah, someone that makes drum and bass only listens to drum and bass, or like a grime MC goes home and listens to like 8 Bar on a Sunday. No, they don't. Do you know what I mean? They listen to everything.
Adrian McLeod is someone I work with a lot. He's from church. He represents musicality that's so in his veins, it oozes spirit. It was so important for him to kind of be involved making the musicality of it as high a level as it could be.
I find like a lot of times I have to hold back. You can't give them too much, but with this project I could kind of like relax and be me a bit more rather than just holding back, which is nice. We were actually talking about what we were going to do as opposed to just kind of falling into it. And then I suppose it gave me a chance to really kind of draw into my gospel and jazz roots and kind of drop some stuff which really not only just kind of was fresh, but it was very personal to me. And there's a lot of the time where things are quite microwave, so you hear it once and you're good, but with the tracks that are on this album, I feel like you don't mind hearing it a few times because it's layered. You're getting different things you didn't hear the first time.
Rude boys and the G's on the come up, lost in dreams till you slumber. Ring, 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 got your number. Hey, 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 hey. Rude boys on the come up, OG's washed up, trying to keep up. 9 nights long prayers, then cheers through tears. I think coming from West as well, I just know what it's like. I know some of the man them that have like wanted better for themselves and looked up to the OGs and thought, oh, is my man in the betting shop or outside the betting shop still and all of that. But years have gone by and now they're the guy that's like outside the betting shop. Like, it's not easy. You know, your dreams can quickly be taken from under you, or you can, you know, just give them up.
Being a part of the process of this whole thing has been, I think what's been sick is just to like see how consistent the authenticity has been all the way through. Like, there's not been a point where a man's just thought, oh, right, that tune's out. Bash could do one of them tunes because that's working at the moment. Or, rah, I wonder if the people are going to get it. Is it going to go over there? Like, throughout the whole process, it's been like, it has to be true and real all the way through.
I got to the part where he talked about cancer in his mum's breast, death in his mum's breast. And the tears just came. And I just thought, like, even though we get a lot of honesty from our MCs, I felt like he was really, not just in that line, but in the whole project, like really vulnerable and honest about his insecurities or his loves or his fears.
The thing is that it's already the most successful thing you could have made in my eyes because it's the most you thing you could have made. It takes a lot of guts to do that because it's much easier to think, okay, how am I going to keep the A&R happy? How am I going to keep the streets happy? How am I going to keep the top 10 happy? How am I going to play off this thing and this current reference? But it doesn't sound like any of that's in there. I feel like you've taken like a mood board and a series of references that Bashy is about, and then have kind of turned that into some sort of soundscape. So you deserve a lot of props for that.
Young G on a rise, Kenzie. Rise, Kenzie. Young G on a rise, Kenzie.
Done already. The journey. Alright. Before the Rollie, before the Benz, before 24 and before them, I was coming out of Brent. I am really, really from the end so much, so I really know dynamic M.
My favourite tune I've ever made is On The Rise, and the reason it is because I remember sat in my living room with the Myron sample, Groove Chronicles, that me and Bashy absolutely love. And I don't know many people who love that tune as much as me and him. So alone, that is a vibe. And I remember just doing a little skeleton of it and sent it him, and all he said was, "What's this?" That's all I needed to know, which was a thumbs up. And then you voiced it as a voice memo on a one loop, you know. Sent it me back and I dragged it in, and then I remember sitting in my house on the coffee table, just going into some next dimension, and I was able to flex how I want to flex as a producer. I start it in one key and then it switches to another key. And then the sample opens up and anyone who cares knows, oh, that was that. If I say so myself, I kind of shelled it. But also, it's not even that. It's about the DNA of the song, without knowing it, is all the way through it, but you don't catch it to the end. I remember sending it to Bashy and it giving me this really authentic appraisal of how good he thought it was. And I was like, alignment again, because not many people would understand the sample choice they're doing. And then, ironically, the voice note is the one you hear on the album. After we got to the end of the process, a lot of the album stuff we re-recorded because of sonic reasons, but that was the one we couldn't get right. So On the Rise is a voice note from an iPhone, and that is the track.
Was a little intimidated if I keep it a Hannah. Looking back on it, banter. At the time, vex filled me with anger. Little fear, so to see that man scared, I weren't thinking, haha. I was more thinking, haha.
You can't fake how people feel. No matter what you do, you cannot, there's no amount of money you can spend. There's no amount of posts you can do or whatever. You cannot fake how people feel. And I think how people feel about the record is, it's special, man. I haven't experienced it before in this way. And people are really pouring out love and letting man know. DMs, texts, people are finding my number. It's mad.
And even seeing the other things that's happened, post the music. So the music videos, the interviews, the write-ups, the artwork, the picture, everything has been aligned with that same principle. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's sometimes difficult to do. Not everyone sees it from the same lens. And I think when you're able to find people that are all aligned and trying to get the same vibe, that really contributes to how authentic the whole thing feels.
So I think it stretches far beyond just West London. I think it's and you see the crowd there, the people that have, travelled far and wide to come and buy a ticket and buy a record, a CD and come and support. It's not just us, it's not just our, highly melanated faces. It's everyone. It's really beautiful, man.
It's hard for musicians and artists sometimes, because some of these things that we think about and talk about are very personal. And sometimes when you put it out in the world, it can be slated easily. And sometimes that can feel like a rejection to you as a person, So to have this feeling, it feels, it's overwhelming, but it is an amazing feeling. And I'm glad that it's landed with so many people and that people feel seen and heard by it. It's good, man. It's special.
I'm very, very grateful to have had the chance to even just bear witness to it coming together. I was grateful to collaborate on what we collaborated on, but it's you both that need the props for sort of pulling all of this together, because it's really, your vision and your creation.
What you have done on the album is groundbreaking, to be honest with you. And I feel like it's given such a new perspective to even how people are going to see Toddler T, the producer, in terms of where you sit.
By the time we was halfway in, I knew this was a different level. And not one choice could be as good as it should have been. It had to be top of top.
It's exceeded my expectations so far, actually, already. Just in terms of how people feel about it, some of the conversation around it. All I can do is hope, you get me? I just hoped that it resonated with people and that people felt as though it was the truth and authentic and real and related to it. Like, yeah, actually, that is our story and it's true, you know? And there is no fabrication on the album. There's no, and there's also no compromise on the album. It's an independent record. We put it out ourselves. It's exactly how we wanted it to sound. People can always, you know, refer back to it, and it doesn't, and it grows, and it gets better with age. That's really what I want for it, and that people can grow with it. That younger people can understand, oh wow, that's what their man went through when they was growing up. That older people can look at it like, oh wow, that's what our younger generation was going through at a time, and then that people that from that time feel seen, feel heard, and feel like it's our story together.
Wow, some incredible albums right there. It's kind of tight, I can't call it.
The winner is Bashy!
Thank you to my community, man. Listen, we did this independently. We backed ourselves. We believed in ourselves. And now here we are. Being Poor is Expensive is the album of the year. Thank you to Progression for your wisdom. Thank you to Toddler T. I could not have done this album without you. Steeze Factory. My name is Bashy, also known as Ashley Thomas. Thank you to the Mobos. Everyone enjoy your evening. Respect.